Hey gang, it's JC and this is the Daily Dose for Monday, January 10th, 2011. A combined operation along with Mind Active in beautiful downtown Brentwood. We have archives top of the page, eye candy right along the bottom of the page here, and great archives that you should check out on the Video Village and the Wayback Machine. Let's get it going here. The snow is a-coming. The snow is a-coming. We will be opening the Schnucks Panic Aisle on the Big 550 KTRS a little bit later on today. We're on the air from 10 o'clock in the morning until 1 every day. And, by the way, today marks the return of Trish's Trash. Trish Gazelle does the show with me, the producer of the show, and this is one of those features that really put her on the map a couple of years ago when she was at the River and a couple of other stations. And so Trish's Trash every day at 12:50, 10 minutes until 1 o'clock on the Big 550 KTRS, and JC and Trish, as we said, every day from 10 until 1 o'clock. All right. It's just terrible when somebody, anybody, but particularly somebody you know, gets sick. And if it's somebody that happens to be in the same business that you're in, there's sort of a camaraderie, and you sort of feel close to it when somebody in your own business, in your own profession, takes ill. And, we heard a while back that Lisa Zigman at Channel 5 had gotten, I think it was it non-Hodgkin's lymphoma, if my memory serves me correctly. I don't know for sure, some sort of cancer, and she's being treated for it. And it's my understanding that prognosis is very, very good, and we, along with everybody else, wish Lisa Zigman the best, regardless of what you think about, what sort of performer she is on the air or what you think of her work. Regardless of any of that, I share in the feeling with everybody in St. Louis that she gets better. That having been said, regardless of how sick you are or what your prognosis is, you still have to be responsible for your actions. And I bring this up because something really icky happened on Friday night, and that is that Lisa launched an attack on me on her Facebook page, which quickly spread to a couple of broadcast websites. And the next thing I know, I got people calling me every name in the book. Briefly, if it is possible to say briefly what happened, I was very puzzled by this because I'm thinking to myself, I wasn't even talking about Lisa Zigman. Long story made short, we were talking about her cousin, I think it is, a reporter on Channel 5 by the name of Ashley Yarkin, who, by the way, I complimented because I said, this is somebody who I think has been a pretty good reporter, and her name came up in conversation Friday because a piece that she had aired on Channel 5 late last week on the televangelist Joel Osteen was so subpar, so amateurish, and so disappointing that it sort of got my attention. And I said, here's a person who I have observed in the past, is a pretty good reporter. What in the world happened, and how did something like this get on the air? Because as far as I was concerned, my opinion, it was an embarrassment. Somebody, as best I can figure out, got the idea that because I had mentioned she was a relative of Lisa Zigman, somebody thought we were being highly critical of Lisa Zigman instead of her cousin Ashley Yarkin, calls Lisa Zigman at Channel 5 and starts saying they're saying all these terrible things about you. Of course, Lisa, why she would just go on Facebook on Friday night and just say, oh, JC blasted me and I've got cancer, and why she would do that as opposed to just contacting me and saying, hey, look, because she admits she didn't even hear what was said on the air, and yet launches an attack on Facebook. I'm like, what are you doing? Why wouldn't you just call me? You got my number, and there's other ways of getting a hold of me. Why wouldn't you just call me and say, what did you say? And I would have been able to tell her, no, whoever called you and gave you this information got it all fouled up. One of the unfortunate byproducts of this whole thing is on Lisa's Facebook page on Friday night, somebody who was in the news a lot for a couple of years, who was, let's just say, was serving in an executive capacity for one of the major, let's see, how do we say this, one of the major functions of St. Louis City, let's just leave it at that, threatened to vandalize my home. And when I saw that, I sent this woman a message and said, you come within 100 feet of my house and watch what happens to you. The next day, I received a Facebook message from this woman who said, I don't know what you're talking about. Are you crazy? Don't ever contact me again. And then blocked me from making any future attempts to contact her. So I went back and checked Lisa's Lisa Zygmunt's Facebook page, and the 2 posts by this woman threatening to vandalize my home had been removed. Now, if you know anything about Facebook, you know there's only one person who can be responsible for deleting messages, and that is the owner and the operator of their own Facebook account. So we have destruction of evidence and a potential criminal case for somebody threatening to do damage to someone's home. All of this, by the way, in a business, the news business, where people are supposed to get 2 sources before they move forward on any story. I guess it just doesn't apply to, this sounds like a bad episode of the Gilmore Girls or Dawson's Creek, where somebody just goes nuts on the internet and tries to besmirch somebody's good name. I don't know. I don't understand people anymore. I just don't get it. So I will deal with this in the appropriate methods. As I said, regardless of how sick you are, you still have to be responsible for your actions. Let's leave it at that. And now we got this ridiculous story down in Tucson. And, I guess when a story like this happens, you think, well, at least it doesn't happen that often. And then I'm looking this up this morning, and it happens all the time. There have been 3 successful assassination attempts in the United States in 30 years. There have been 3 since 2000. The mayor of Washington Park, Illinois, shot in 2010. The chairman of the Arkansas Democratic Party killed in 2008. And a New York councilman assassinated in 2003. 3 times as many members of the House of Representatives have been assassinated than senators. There's never been a successful assassination in the United States by poisoning. Only 1 U.S. assassination in the last 100 years has been by a weapon other than a gun. There have been 2 bomb assassinations, 1 stabbing. Mayors are the only political representatives who have been assassinated as many times as members of the House of Representatives. Lincoln and Kennedy escaped earlier attempts on their lives, but James Garfield and William McKinley were killed on the first try. 2 congressmen from Arkansas were killed in the same year. In 1868, Thomas Hindman and James Hines both shot and killed. Most presidential assassinations occur in the first half of the decade, and Jimmy Carter is the only U.S. president in the last 50 years that no one has tried to kill. Nobody took a run at LBJ either. I don't get it anymore. Let's shift gears. I'm going to talk a little football here. We got the schedule. Here's something sort of funny. I go to the NFL.com, the official website of the National Football League, and their schedule for the playoff games this coming weekend is wrong. On the NFL website, on the website of the league itself. The games are all right, the matchups are all right, but the networks they're going to be on is incorrect. On the NFL's own website. So the rundown is a Saturday, you got Baltimore at Pittsburgh, that's on CBS. The NFL site says NBC, that's wrong. At 7 o'clock on Saturday, Green Bay at Atlanta, and that's on Fox. On Sunday, the noon game is Seattle at Washington. It'll probably be beautiful in Chicago. That's on Fox. And then Sunday, again, the NFL website says the game's on NBC. Jets at New England, it's not, it's on CBS. Unless I've got my information wrong, and I don't think so. It's just amazing, though, that the NFL site itself would have the wrong information. All right, let's skip that. 4 major things that they say are going to cost you more in this year, 2011, and that is groceries, clothing, college, and gasoline. I don't think anybody's surprised by that. Rihanna's new fragrance is going to be in the stores in February. There's a little warning, though. Wearing it will definitely make men hit on you, literally. And it was on this date in 1949 that RCA and Columbia introduced the 45 and the 33 RPM vinyl record. That's in 1949. When you stop to think, it was only, it's only 60 years ago, and how far the technology has come. Although, as you know, we've talked about this before, I'm still not happy about the fact that we don't have any album art anymore. It's on a little CD this big, and pretty soon we're not even going to have CDs. And the sort of art of an album jacket, an album cover, front and back, and the liner notes. It's just a shame that that little piece of Americana is gone. And but that's how fast things are changing. All right, JC's eye candy today is, I've forgotten what it is, but it's good, whatever it is. I forgot. I was going to do a thing on prostitutes, and I remember I changed my mind. Oh, I remember what it is. Okay, JC's Eye Candy today, right below what you're looking at right now. You don't need me to tell you. All you have to do is look below. But I found some pictures, some photographs from this past Christmas. Twisted people with way too much time, Hoosiers and a gift card from Lowe's, and almost anything can happen. So you'll see a couple of pictures that we picked out there. All right, what else we got here? Yeah, the snow is coming, and on Wednesday, just a little plug to show a little support for the people down in Sunset Hills, the tornado victims. We're going to be doing our entire show Wednesday, 10 o'clock in the morning until 1 from O'Leary's restaurant, and so that'll be a lot of fun, and I guarantee you none of the TV stations, magazines, or newspapers will cover it. That's how this whole thing is. The TV stations, newspapers, and magazines in this town are not interested in publishing anything positive about anything I do. And I understand that's part of the game. It's wrong, but I understand it's part of the game. So I tell you about it here because I guarantee you it will get no coverage. So we'll see everybody in the snow and the cold at O'Leary's on Wednesday as we show a little support for the tornado victims down in Sunset Hills. That's it. JC's Daily Dose for Monday, January 10th, 2011, a cooperative venture with Mind Active in beautiful downtown Brentwood. And in the meantime, we've beaten this one to death. Have a good one. See you later. Bye.